Hi, I'm Lisa Edelstein.
Hey, I'm Greg Utanis. I'm executive producer, and I also directed Bombshells. I love the teaser for this episode because it's not our typical teaser. It's not the typical, um, somebody we don't know. I love that when we do start our episodes with our characters and invest immediately, it gives sort of a way in. I know as a director, a way in that is much more intimate and connected and subjective.
And it's a comfortable day. No tight clothes,
No,
not much hair and makeup.
I mean, this commentary is slightly awkward because Lisa Edelstein and I do not speak when we are off the set for her contract. Um, yeah, or eye contact will be made.
This
The
was a sweet scene with you.
It was nice, because we've had a lot of up to this point, a lot of bickering House and Cuddy of them together, and I thought,
We needed to get back to the romance.
yeah, exactly, see why they're together, which would only kind of fuel the end of the episode, I think, in a more powerful way. And this teaser evolved in a couple of different ways. It used to be much more domestic with them just kind of getting ready for their day. And we all had a conversation about how important it was to see the fun of the characters and see why they're together or what works with them. And always making one of our main characters a patient is
Particularly having a gynecological exam. So
yeah,
it's always fun to do.
with the crowd.
Yeah.
This arc of House and Cuddy together, which lasted 15 episodes, the way that Hugh and Lisa work together has been astounding. We did the finale last year where the characters came together and carried that into the season opener. And the great pleasure in this season has been working with the two of them.
Thanks.
In that, I will continue from this point forth to refer to Lisa Edelstein in the third person.
As
The
long as
craft of
I
Lisa
don't
Edelstein.
refer to Lisa Edelstein in the third person.
You
Oh,
should,
there,
you
I
should.
just did it.
We opted, because the episode was pretty substantial, we opted to not put our usual title sequence in. So you're seeing a lot of credits that you normally would see in the opening titles wind up
Poor
in here.
Peter. The last thing he needs is a fisheye lens.
In this episode, because of the extraordinary dream sequences that we had, in terms of direction and sort of visual approach, I wanted to have a very boilerplate, traditional, straight-up episode of House surrounding all the work that we would do in the dream sequences. So it's very classically shot, coverage, master, nothing too dramatic with the lensing, just kind of going where the story is and letting it unfold and not kind of getting in its own way. So that again, the ending would sneak up on you, which I think is some of the. There's been a couple of times where I find that Hugh and Lisa just ruin me in terms of the emotional work that they do, and when I watch it, I am like completely humbled by their craft and trying to support. Ultimately, where this was all going to go was partly in trying not to overbake the episode. The episode had a lot of stuff that was so far out of the box for us that it was important not to get too crazy with the rest of the episode. So it just didn't become too much chocolate ice cream, and everybody had a big stomach ache. So we went for very simple stuff. And Peter Jacobson, ladies and gentlemen.
I love that shot.
Lisa, going into this episode, what was that? What were you thinking when you read this episode, read the script?
Well, I got a text from Greg Utanis
Oh,
saying
Greg
that
Utanis, executive producer on the credits.
Mia Michaels was going to be choreographing a song and dance number, and how did I feel about singing and dancing? And I said, what kind of dancing? And Greg Utanis said, the awesome kind, which actually terrified me. So I really didn't know what to expect. But it was exciting. It's always fun to kind of go outside the norm and flex your muscles in a new way. I knew that this episode would be controversial, and I was really curious as to how they would handle it. They being the writers, and I was excited to kind of live through the storyline with you.
So Liz and Sarah wrote an amazing script, and Greg Utanis
Oh, directed by.
directed this. Yes, directed by. Look, it was we knew, I slated myself specifically into this episode because we knew at the beginning of the season that the characters would break up in episode 15. And kind of knowing that was coming, I really wanted to direct this episode because I so loved bringing the characters together in the finale last year, and loved seeing the progression in the season opener of where the moment after was, that I felt a real ownership in that relationship that I just had, just like the characters, I had to see this through to the end, and I had to put my own closure on it. I think I would have been robbed by that. And it was good because before we had set out the grid, I knew the storylines. So there was some specific episodes that I really wanted to do and I wanted to be a part of. And this was really the one that I had earmarked that I wanted to make sure that I had put myself into.
You brought it to life, and you would kill it in the end.
I had to bring my extraordinary vision and craft of Gregory House to no. I just really wanted to see this through, and I love this scene. I love Lisa and Robert's work together in a scene like this. I thought it was.
I always have fun working with Robert.
Does he crack you up?
He does. He's so droll. He also just has a great attitude about all of it. He really likes to enjoy work, and he doesn't take himself very seriously. He's just fun. It's fun to do scenes with him.
When I watch this, we're watching this right now as we're doing the commentary without the sound, which allows just to watch what the actors are doing even more. And I'm not because Lisa Edelstein's standing next to me, but I don't think I go a conversation when I talk about the show. There are a lot of people, of course, the show's House, and people talk about how much they love Hugh Laurie and so forth. But I don't go a conversation without talking about just how extraordinary Lisa's work is.
Thank you.
Consistently.
I'm right here, Greg.
I know. And I tell you to your face and text you to your face and email you to your face. But I also for anybody who's taken the time to listen to this, it is, I am just so astounded at all the little things that Lisa does and the way she interprets. There's an undirectable way that she interprets the material that you couldn't try to get an actor to do, and someone like Lisa just inhabits in a world that
Thanks.
I'm not.
I think I should do all commentaries with you. So I just get like 40
or I
minutes
could just
of
kind of come around
compliments.
with you everywhere and just again be like, stop the show and talk about all the little things that you do. And in an episode like this, when there's something, when you really it's like the little, as she's trying to sort of go through and remember stuff, there's all these little things. Like I feel like Lisa has all kinds of gears you can access. And when, often I've worked with her for one scene an episode, and to have all these kind of meaty things and something that she can grab onto a personal crisis. She's coming off the fact that her mom just went through a personal crisis. And again, like any interaction with Hugh and Lisa, they really work great together. And I love how they could not be more different as actors, and I love that the way that they've supported themselves all throughout this and have been game. They had tricky scenes in the season opener together with all the sex scenes, and I watched how they made it okay for each other. And I also love, Lisa, how you just you make things fun for Hugh, and you keep his.
Oh, thanks.
He can he's a very intense guy, and in the best of ways. And I think what's nice is
Well, Hugh has to really carry this show. And that has to do not just with performance, but with the hours that he puts in. So, I appreciate that you like how I am on set with him. I try to keep it a supportive environment. It's a hard job that he has.
Brother, that thug that just came through with the best line of the episode.
What was
my
his
money
line?
ass hat. He's one of our background guys who stepped up and got a speaking part. So that was fun. In fact, I think if you continue to look throughout the season, you will see that he's
always in the
deep in the background from now on and going on.
I loved Peter's storyline in this episode.
It was great.
He's just he's great to watch, Peter.
Peter's also one of those actors that has he has such vocabulary for what he can access, and I always, he's had a lot to do this season, and every time he gets something, he just keeps taking it to the next level. And,
it doesn't get wasted, that's for sure.
Although we did a lot of funny outtakes of this because it seemed like at every scene somehow it was almost like he was hitting on him. So we have very funny outtakes where we continue it, especially when he's offering money. He's like, we did it.
Just looks slightly pervy.
We did slightly pervy, and we did a scene. And Lisa and Paula worked great together.
Paula and I have known each other for a long time. All actresses with brown hair who are funny end up in the same audition rooms for the first 10 years of their career. So
how was it then, finally actually working together?
It was fantastic. We did a few episodes. She's really easy to work with, really fun. And it was nice to be on camera together.
And this is the first of our fantasy sequences. And I just want to jump in to say that there's a style of acting, there's a style of shooting, there's a whole tone and language to a sitcom, and I've never directed one, and it was probably, of all the dream sequences, the one I was actually most concerned about, because you know it when you see it. You know when Friends looks like Friends and Will and Grace looks like Will and Grace, and creating those moments are difficult. And Hugh, completely grabbed onto the kind of Two and a Half Men type situation here.
Robert too is the awkward staging.
Oh,
the way he
awkward, like
stands.
new to like open the door and
Love
then
it.
so that you could see the actors and then walk across. All these things we would never do in any way in a normal scene. And Hugh, who's tan and coiffed and has the bowling shirt, and of course this aired on the day that Charlie Sheen was fired from Two and a Half Men, which looked like we had some incredible, prediction of what had happened, but. It's only a minute.
I like that. That's a nightmare for Cuddy.
It is a nightmare.
House in a
In a
bowling
sitcom,
shirt.
in a bowling shirt, with her 8-year-old daughter. That was actually a giant bottle we put in the foreground to create forced perspective. If Lisa had reached for it, it would be the size of a football. That bottle. So we sometimes oversize the props for perspective, stuff like that, just to get the desired effect.
Amber. I'll miss Amber Tamlin.
Yeah, again,
Fun to work with.
we haven't had anybody quite like her. Like, she was able to come in and find a way to play this character in a way we hadn't seen. It was not Cameron. It was not 13. She was completely.
She's a super bright girl, very professional, been around for a long time, been working since she was an embryo, and just great
Totally
person to have
great.
around.
The dynamic too is she fit in perfectly, and she jumped right in. I mean, I didn't direct her first episode, but she came to the table like fully formed with this character with great ideas, and it's a tough character. It's a tough, and she just grew on you, and you.
Yeah, because you could easily just hate her, but instead you kind of enjoy watching her struggle.
I thought the episode that Tim Southam directed with her last episode of the season was terrific.
I can't wait to see it. I haven't
It's
seen
really,
it.
really good. And again, just going back to that classical style, we wanted this just to be straight ahead so that it didn't at all fall in. You would never think that you were at all watching a dream anywhere else except in the dream sequences. And in the sitcom, we created a sitcom version of House's apartment. So if you knew House's apartment, we put subtle things that would remind you, but they were the slightly brighter version. It was
Right.
like a lighter tone paint,
Scrubbed.
a just more, and all that sort of flat lighting. It was hard for Gail to get in and make everything totally bright. And we shot it on video, and we shot multiple cameras, and we gave Hugh a Fonzie style entrance, and the crowd cheering, and we had
I really liked the laugh track.
yeah, we had the laugh track on set, and it went wrong on the first take, and it was just.
You were actually playing it on set?
They would say a joke, so because we had to leave. The other thing we had to do is we had to leave room for the applause.
Right. It's like
So-
doing a real sitcom.
Yeah. So we set it up, and then the first take it had gone like haywire, and so they just kept like laughing at all the wrong times, and it was, howling over the jokes because we had pulled aside stuff.
That's really funny.
Hugh and Robert have an incredible language together in terms of the way that they fall into their scenes. It just is,
Yeah.
you truly feel like
Well,
from go.
they really enjoy each other.
Yes.
They do. And it's great to watch.
Robert is doing a play right now, and him coming back with stories of his experiences and holding court and keeping Hugh in stitches. Like, it's just this is actually I just want to talk about Jesse Spencer for a second.
Yes.
I really loved some of the choices Jesse made in the scene, and
Me too.
having worked with him now since I directed my first episode, was episode 5 of the show, and how much he's evolved as an actor and grown and matured. I mean, he's kind of grown up on the show, and he has a thing here where he talks about St. Paul's really on his game. Like, there's a million ways that line could have come out, and again, it was just something undirectable.
He's a wonderful actor. It's really subtle, and I like the familiarity of our characters in the scene, and that really is a lot coming from Jesse. Just like you can tell, these people have known each other for a while and worked together, and there's a mutual respect. She's definitely his boss. I mean, in so many unspoken ways, he fills the scene.
Yeah, and it's you guys just fall into a rhythm that can only come, I think, from the time you spent on the show together, and it's the right amount of awkwardness, it's the right amount of comfort, it's the right amount of support, and I think and I, in general, when I'm directing, I do very little. I just kind of try to bump the sides and try to help give little notes, and I largely kind of can't take any responsibility for how these things kind of come on their feet, because the actors are so, bring so much to the table, bring such gifts, I mean, beyond, Hugh coming with great choices, Peter, Omar, they all come to the table with great ideas. And if something just sort of feels outside of that parameter, I just try to give a little tweak to enhance where they may be going with things. But otherwise, I mostly try to stay out of everybody's way and not get up in their face. Would you say that's kind of my style?
Yeah, I would.
I don't get up
you
in
give
your-
little nudges. You're not up in my grill.
Yeah, I try not to be. This gets into our next dreams.
I'm just watching Omar, and he's so good at what he does too.
So good. Circle back to Omar. We have zombies.
Yeah, he has a great turn in the zombie sequence.
We have. I'll tell you Omar's story in a second when we get to him. But we had this idea that this is going to be the Jacob's Ladder wing of PPTH, as though the abandoned psychiatric wing of the hospital was under construction and being converted over. So it was very important that House doesn't acknowledge the environment, that nothing was weird out of the gate, and that the only thing is strange is that that there's zombies. And even then, he came with his axe cane because he knew there may be zombies in the hospital. So Jesse, the first half of this was sort of modeled after 28 Days Later in terms of the tone, and the second half of it was modeled after the Evil Dead movies. Like, we wanted to kind of hit.
I loved the Evil Dead movies when I was a kid. Yeah. I don't think I could watch them today. They'd scare me too badly.
They're not. They're so funny.
They are
totally
really funny. But
And
they're also really scary.
Here, standards and practices, by the way.
These guys were in that makeup for so long that day.
All day long.
It was no joke. And I joked with Peter that no matter how much of a zombie they turned him into, he still looked like an old Jewish man.
We have some very funny outtakes. We did all four of them came out and we did one take to Thriller. and Omar's take, he said, he's like, I'm going to play zombie foreman as boring as real foreman. So, which totally
I
cracked
came
me
to
up.
work that day, and I don't think I ever got to shoot whatever scene it was. I came to work.
The breakup scene.
Oh, right. And then we had to
uh,
shoot that. We shot the breakup scene a month later.
Yeah. We would talk about that too, as how that was actually a very happy accident. This day became so much, there's no master shot for this scene, and it required every single moment is its own setup. And
Right.
although the noise Lisa's making here, my direction was, there's zombies, they're eating your brains. And so she's screaming. That dream.
But I was screaming at a different time on a different set.
On a different set, on a different day.
Stage. I was doing the
Because that was actually a stunt. Lisa actually wasn't in
that.
that scene. It was stunt Lisa being
eaten.
chewed up and eaten. And in the zombie sequence, Gail Tattersall did called upon all his early days of horror films and so forth, and created a beautiful, textured, complex lighting design that. And then Gail has basically made 5 different movie looks or TV show looks within the episode itself. Is kind of extraordinary, and the actors all being game and finding the right tone. Like, interestingly, Standards and Practices did not have any problem with us chopping heads off. But, if we were seeing a little too much bare butt in the season opener, we would have to correct.
I know. It's so strange that areolas are obscene, but chopping heads off aren't.
It was like, more blood. It was
Not that I want to be walking around with my areolas on camera. But I just think it's a funny thing about our culture.
Yeah.
That violence is less obscene than nipples.
It gets into a very funny area, and we've actually been pretty good at walking that line. But and I gotta say, just in that zombie sequence, Hugh, he's so cinematic, and he's so jumped into the action hero mold. He took right to it, and he knew the tone of the delivery. And the line that "We've got company" is sort of like an inside joke that Hugh has his lines that he's always wanted to say, like.
And he's always wanted his cane to turn into a gun or something.
A gun, and he actually we had gun cane and axe cane. Another
great.
favorite line that Liz and Sarah wrote is, "Thank God I brought my axe cane." I really love everybody's last reaction here just before the elevator doors shut. Again, it just shows
just Amber disturbing them all.
Yeah, and just they all have a whole other kind of story.
Yeah.
Going on, and that. When we were actually shooting that, we had allotted half the day on the zombie sequence, and it just became
the entire day.
The entire day, and there was no way around it. It was what it was, and we didn't. And that day we had scheduled the breakup scene, and we didn't want to rush the breakup scene. We didn't feel it was the kind of thing that we would get the best work, and we made an interesting decision to drop it until after we came back from the Christmas hiatus, which was going to be about a month's time.
Yeah.
And before making that decision, Hugh and Lisa, we all came to the decision that this could actually be better because it would fuel what was to come in the following episodes nicely. So the very first thing that they did when they got back that we put in the schedule was that breakup scene, and it gave, in a way, I think the time away really enhanced the work. I don't know if it would have been exactly the same scene, but
it changed a little, and the time with the writers, they sat with it and fine-tuned it in a way that I think was great.
That scene is so nuanced and honest and devastates me. I know we haven't gotten into it yet, and I go with the assumption that anybody who's listening to the commentary has seen the episode. So
yeah,
with
I
that
hope
idea.
so, because we've ruined it for them if they haven't.
Yeah, and we pretty much after the first act, every act has a dream sequence, and the original concept of this script was that every act would be in the style or genre of that sequence, so that there was actually going to be very little. That mostly it was all going to be inside Cuddy's head, and it was all going to play out in some sort of form, all the story was going to play out in the style, the sitcom style, the black and white style, the horror movie style. Like it would all sort of be of that. And we possibly could have accomplished that, but because we focused all our energy onto these sort of vignettes. I mean, they only amount to about 5 minutes of the episode, and they required all the skill and craftsmanship and talent of the people that are behind the show that most people don't see and recognize. To the fact that everybody had in their wheelhouse what is normally a hospital show and be able to create a musical and a sitcom and a horror movie and a period film.
Hugh with the apron on and his slicked back hair. Cute.
I can't remember. I think it was Liz or Sarah. Somebody had the idea of the mixing bowl that he'd be like, stirring, like nothing seemingly more domestic than stirring up some, God knows what he's stirring or not stirring. And then always, in addition to, the theme of candy is something that would come back in terms of trying to plant, the lollipop, the bubble gum, just having it be present but not hit people over the head. And again, Lisa, you grabbed onto a style of acting, from that time. And if you've actually seen the episode, we did re-record this in mono, so it has a very tinny sound.
It was really fun. I loved doing the scene.
I love the way Lisa plays the cracking of the dream. Like it's starting to, like she's in denial and stuff's going on. Lisa, your instrument, your gift.
Thanks.
I feel so weird talking about you right here, but I compliment you all day long.
It's very, very sweet. That scene, I also had a padded pointy bra on, just as a little point of reference. It's also part of my gift.
But the thing is, like you knew how to like dial right into that without making it over the top and campy. Like the thing was, people in those things didn't think that they were doing something over the top and campy. So
right.
Lisa and Hugh and Robert, but Lisa especially, since you're driving that scene, you knew how to be within that genre without over baking that genre. Like it wasn't a send up of it. It was as though you were in something from My Three Sons or Leave It to Beaver, which I kind of loved and appreciated that. And this actually was a piece of coverage that I did. I did more traditional coverage of the scene, but the impact of just letting Foreman go out of focus and just staying with House.
This is when he learns that I have what looks like cancer everywhere. Is the cancer everywhere? Or is this cancer in just one? No, this is when it's everywhere.
It's not everywhere, but it's. I think what came back. It
spread to the lungs.
Yeah, that you're basically dead. But the impact on Hugh's face and just letting him have that whole moment and playing this as one shot. Is one of the great things about the show is that we can trust in those moments and trust in the actors. And this actually was actually shot in one scene, and then we just sort of jump cut it a bit, like he sort of edited it himself, which helped kind of speed it along. One of the things that we always struggle with is the length of the episodes. We only have a very limited amount of time to get the story across in 42 and a half minutes, and every second counts when you're telling a big story like this. And it's very important that we just wherever we can pick up time, we try to. And there was a lot to service
was that
here.
thing? Did he really throw a thing that exploded, or was there a separate explosion?
He threw a thing, and there was an explosion, and then we sweetened the explosion with the lawns and visual effects. We added more.
Was the thing that he threw the actual thing that exploded?
No.
Or was okay.
No. There was just an air mortar.
There was no chance of him blowing himself up.
Air mortar is just a pressurized funnel that just will blast air out, like almost like if you put a spitball at the end of a straw. It just forces it out. And it wasn't quite big enough. We wanted mostly dirt and not flames, and so we added a little bit of flying debris. Our visual effects team is
do an
pretty
amazing job.
fantastic. 'Cause most of the stuff they do, you don't even notice that's happening. It's very subtle, small things that we do. Everything from fixing something to adjusting something to the stuff that is more sort of overt. But interestingly, scenes you'd expect to have tons of visual effects didn't. A lot of stuff was done in camera.
Yes, I'm worried. But this isn't about House, it's about Cuddy. She's the one who could be dying, and he's trying to make this about himself. I'm not playing.
Okay.
I do want to talk about me and Michael's as we get a little bit closer to that sequence. Omar has such incredible stillness to his work.
Yeah.
And it's a choice because Omar in life is, a very funny, loose guy. And then when he plays Foreman, he plays it in a very specific, something very specific he's channeling in terms of that character that is really good and a great craft. And, again, we cast good guest stars to support the story and kept it.
This is not an easy role. Playing worried parent is very, very difficult. You never really have enough dialogue as worried parent to step forward with a complete character that the audience will necessarily recognize. So you have to do a lot of the work yourself, and I'm always impressed with people who are able to do that with some realism.
Our casting department, Amy Lippens and Stephanie and Janelle, they introduced us to great actors. I mean, we continually find, 150 episodes in, we keep finding new talent, exciting talent, great people to come in and be guest stars and support and enhance these episodes. In this case, the patient of the week is Cuddy, but in more or less. But the with Brad and who's playing the Taubes patient.
Yeah.
They come in and they nuance their work and they take it. People have such reverence and respect for the show that they really come in, and I've never seen anybody
guest
come
spotting
in.
is not an easy job. You have to tell a whole story in a really short period of time, and you have to do it with a sense. You have to make the audience feel like your character's always existed, and comes in as a complete human being, despite the fact that they're written to move a storyline forward. It's a really tough job. I'm impressed with all of our guest casts.
It's that good combination of good writing towards them as well as like the actors coming in ready to do exactly that.
Yeah.
I think you're right. I think there could not be a harder.
They've got essentially like 18 minutes to present a whole human being and tell their story. This was so cool, Greg, and it was amazing to shoot.
This was inspired by Butch and Sundance. Compositionally and editorially, we are trying to hold faithful to what the inspiration was.
Great karaoke bar in Newark.
I hate karaoke.
They got every song by every Aussie artist. Midnight Oil, Men at Work, Olivia Newton-John.
I do a mean version of Physical.
The barbecue shrimp is amazing.
What about the fries?
Hot, salty, and delicious.
And Lisa Edelstein channeling Robert Redford. Talk about that a little bit.
I don't know what to say about it. I had a great time doing this scene. It was just fun to be in a different environment and with dirty everything and men's clothes and guns. Hard to. I wouldn't say I was channeling either of them because that would definitely be talking down about that movie, which is a brilliant piece of film and brilliant acting. But it was fun trying to kind of get the feel of it.
Yeah, which in our production design, everybody really captured and made the detail work is incredible. We shot this at the backlot of Universal on the same day we did the sitcom, and and Gail did a beautiful job of the cinematography, and to be able to go back and capture the look of something, that it's hard. We did this with Pulp Fiction in episode 12, recreating that set similar in terms of its inspiration and being able to editorially hold faithful. And this, very specifically, we lit this as it is because Hugh in darkness. He is stoned at this point. He has taken Vicodin, which is why he kind of went off the map. And one of the things, again, I love about our writers and our writing is that sometimes we do the unexpected, that we've seen so many times House struggle with Vicodin, and to have that moment of him falling off the wagon happen off camera, I think was a great choice. And Hugh is, now that you know that he's on it, you can see the subtleties he's bringing to it, that he's somebody who's coping, who's back on the drugs, who's trying to basically hide that. And one subtle thing we tried to do was, again, to have him in darkness.
Why did it just dissolve?
I just want to take a moment here. This was a lot of medicine that was going on, and I shot it knowing that the episode would be long. I shot this stuff in a style that would allow us to montage it and intercut it more with what was going on. We shot a combination of the dialogue, and we shot a combination of 40 frames slow-mo, which is slightly dreamier, just to capture little details, because I knew going into it we would heavily have to compress these scenes down so that we could leave room for all the stuff that we couldn't cut down. For example, the musical and the song is 2.5 minutes, which goes by very quickly. And again, Lisa and Hugh's work is so natural and so familiar and so honest that we could bring two characters together the way we did and have the show still work. I just want to say, I was a big fan of Fox's So You Think You Could Dance, and that was the first exposure I had to Mia Michaels' work. And
a lot of us would call each other watching the episodes, discussing the dances.
Yes,
like which dances
and her
were repeat
things,
dances.
spoke to me and often moved me. And I'm not any kind of, I don't know.
She created quite a stir when she came to set the first time.
Yes, it was
Everyone
the
very
Mia
excited.
Michaels fan club is basically like everybody. She was quite a celebrity.
Definitely, certainly Sarah and Liz and you and I, who
No, and actually from person to person, it was kind of great watching people get starstruck by her because we had so admired. And I had a completely unrelated to the show, had a lunch with her because we're represented by the same agency and wanted to. I did want to have an introduction, and just see where her head was at and what she was about, and if she was going to continue working in television. And then not a month
everyone
later,
did a great job. The set design, the costumes. I mean, the dancers were remarkable.
this was a case of taking, a month later, we got the script, the feasibility of a musical seemed possible. And the idea behind this was, I want to put a straw in Mia Michaels' head and suck out what's inside. And I physically helped her execute this, but everything you're seeing here is through her point of view. And our departments, our costume department, our set design, our cinematography, everybody, had such reverence for her work, and she'd never done anything on camera. So this is Mia Michaels' first thing for camera. And, the song and the arrangement of Get Happy was happening simultaneous to Mia's work. So Mia and John Ehrlich, who did this arrangement, which is incredible, informed each other of what was going to happen. So she grabbed onto a concept. She conceptualized what House would be wearing, what the other dancers would be wearing in collaboration with our costume department, and worked on a story. And that story was not something that we could just simply shoot in one run. This was broken up into 5 separate sections that had to be learned and rehearsed.
And I really was spinning on that table. It was a little nauseating.
we kept Mia all the way involved so that, she was working with the graphic artist on what these images were. It's her cut. It's, really, although we were there, we had an interesting kind of collaboration in directing this, because it's her direction, but really, like, I was her physical arms to get through the day, since I had a lot more experience on set. And she really could always find a way to add the dance, and I just love the way she was with you and with Hugh, the way that she encourages the best out of you guys.
It was so much fun working with those kids.
That's my favorite shot right there. I love that. I love that.
If I could have stayed in that position for another 10 minutes, I would have. It was so much fun being dragged across the floor.
And you see, like, how quickly the sequence, like, already comes to a close. And all I said to Mia was that the script has 2 things you have to hit, which is the candy cane, and then ultimately at the end, some sort of abandonment, that
Right.
she is alone, that she's, like, bought into this world and she's going for it and she's there. And Mia, like, even choreographed the way that Lisa woke up, which was kind of incredible.
Yeah.
And beautiful, and really enhanced, every second of it, like, had a sense of dance to it, even things that were not
Right.
danceable. And, for someone's, like, first time in front of the, doing something for camera from stage, I thought, Mia did a beautiful job, and that would be something that people would, I hope years from now, remember that sequence, in a big way.
Yeah, it was intimidating, but it was so much fun working with her and just moving through space with a great choreographer. I mean, you don't really see much of the stuff that I was doing, but it was just the experience itself that was extraordinary, and really great being around such young, inspired people. They were so excited to be there. They were so excited to be talented. They all
Right.
felt their own talent in such a great way. It was just wonderful energy that whole day.
We geeked out on some of those. We had kind of like all the favorite people we liked from So You Think You
Yeah,
Can Dance.
it's true. All our
doing
favorite
stuff. Alison
dancers.
Holker and Will and Billy Bell, and we had some great great stuff. And Hugh, I got to say, was game. I mean, it's a tough thing to like come and establish the character.
And
then,
he had a lot to do
Yeah.
in that musical
a
sequence.
lot. And he really was game and surrendered to, Mia's so winning too. It's so hard to say no to her.
But they're
and
also very similar. They're perfectionists. It's extremely important to them. So they related to each other in a really good way.
Yeah. And he does a great job with it. And I love the sort of Dr. Seussian thing that Mia went for with the costuming, and our, Kathy Krendel, our costumer, is incredible. And then
She did such a good
the
job.
conceptual stuff that she brought to the table was fantastic. And Jeremy did our production design is, astounding. Our staircase to
Love
nowhere.
that staircase.
And the flats that had elements of House and Cuddy. And that day, we did 150 setups, I think, in about 15 hours. Like it was an extraordinarily big day. It was all shot in one day. We had a laser precision in which we broke it up and immersed it. And in fact, it was not shot in sequence. In fact, some of the bigger the sections of it were shot first, like the circus
Yeah.
section was shot ahead of time, and then against blue screen, and then we would later put on all the graphic work that Mia would come up with our graphic designer, who also did a beautiful job working with her. I mean, everybody worked and was really great in working with Mia through something, because she was learning as she went, and then it was fun to watch her confidence grow and her command of the craft, happen in front of you, and to have somebody come in that you respect be given kind of free reign,
Yeah,
and
it
to
was-
have an experience.
And I think it was a new experience for her, because on So You Think You Can Dance, the camera work is very specific to dance, where on our show, that's not what they do. So she had to kind of translate her language to the camera department as well, and they did a great job of keeping up with her.
She storyboarded that sequence, those shots, and the vision of it is from her. And I think every time we just wanted to keep building on it. It was so important for that to be like of a singular vision all the way through. It's the kind of thing that could have gotten watered down or chipped away at, or
Yeah.
everybody put their 2 cents in. Like, partly why we hired her is because she's brilliant, but also by the fact that like everybody would have full trust and confidence, and especially Hugh and Lisa, that was so important. And interestingly, Lisa in these kind of sequences, like, is so. I always thought this was a difficult scene to sell, that the realization moment, and I'm always astounded that Lisa can take just about anything you're going to give her and find a way to make it so completely, totally honest.
We have a lot of realizations moments on this show. Hugh has become the greatest expert of realization.
The breakup scene. This was the scene that was shot after the rest of the episode at the beginning of the year. This and House Taking Vicodin at the end were shot in the new year, and
A month later.
about a month later. And I just don't know what to say. Like, we did this, we only did a few takes each direction, and they both had, there's so much history here, and there's so much to the relationship, and every time I see it, I feel something, even without the sound right now as we're doing the commentary. I mean, talk about like what were you going, like what was your process during this scene?
My process. I mean, I think that it was really important to know that Cuddy was breaking up with him despite the fact that she loved him. That this wasn't a question of a lack of love. This was a realization about what she actually needed in her life. And those are really big things to have to come to terms with, that actually love does not conquer all.
When you start drifting away here, when it's like when you feel that it's coming, and he's like, no, stop, and you're like, I can't, and you're just sort of like off in another world. I mean, the choices you're making are incredible as it starts to you feel like he can't get it back. He can't hold on to it. It's like liquid, and it's falling through his fingers. Like he can't get it back, and he knows he's made a mistake, and it's the fact that she's come and has made up her mind. There's no getting her
I
out
don't
of
think
it.
she has made up her mind when she arrives.
No?
I think it happens in the middle of the scene. I think that she realizes, as she's saying it, that actually the issue is not the Vicodin. it's like the issue is he literally does not have the tools to show up.
Right.
And she knows now in this moment that actually isn't going to be enough for her.
This is brutal. When you're just in that zone and there's no getting you back. It's like there's so much attention gets put on the dream sequences of this episode, and in fact, I think the real work and the real heart of this episode is this scene.
I loved this scene. I loved the way they wrote it, and as sad as it is for two people to break up, I felt like it was the most realistic understanding of why it can't work. We shot this scene, and then Paula told me I must have a lot of really terrible problems.
And we did an outtake of this with the slide down the wall version, because it just couldn't. There's just sometimes, and this actually was a point to really echo the end of the finale last year for a lot of reasons, mostly because Cuddy's not coming to save the day.
Right.
And we wanted just to
back on the floor.
Remind people of that, and
back in the toilet.
These are very similar compositions if you were to look at last year's season finale.
But he makes a very different choice.
And it's devastating. And it's just, again, like I don't even think we really have much music at this point. We just kind of go out on that quiet and on his face. Lisa, I've loved doing commentary with you.
Thanks.
Very excellent talking to you outside of set.
Thanks, Greg. That was fun.
It was
all our favorite dancers.
There they are. Dancer number 9. John Ehrlich,
John was so much fun to work with. Being in the recording studio with him was amazing. I never get to do that, and
you sang.
I sang. I'm a recording artist.
Yes, your record's gonna drop. This was really this is great. I'm glad we got to do this and talk about Bombshells.
Bye.
That's some bad hat, Harry.
Hi, my name is David Hosselton, and I'm supervising producer on the show and also co-writer of this episode.
I'm Sarah Hess, and I'm also supervising producer and co-writer of this episode. And we're not wearing any pants.
Yeah, I think I'm a slightly senior supervising producer to you.
Well, in real time, in years. Hell yes.
Well, that's what I meant. I'm considerably older.
He's been supervising producer for
Possibly
longer than me.
You could be my child, I'm not sure. So this is a teaser, obviously, and sort of the idea behind here was to have a teaser without sound or without dialogue. And it's our homage to Sergio Leone's Once Upon a Time in the West.
It is?
Yes, it is. I know.
I had no idea.
I know. Well, do you remember the scene in the train station at the beginning where Woody Strode and Jack Elam are waiting for the train?
No.
And we don't know who they're waiting for or what they're doing. And this is the suspense that we're building up to.
I actually wrote this teaser, and I have no idea what you're talking about.
Exactly. And the only dialogue, for some reason, is the cab driver. Right?
No, Hal says something to them.
Oh, I guess, yeah.
We shot this inside a working prison. One of the rules was do not speak to the inmates, do not make eye contact with the inmates. They're all sort of behind a fence there. So we're just going to send Olivia Wilde into a working jail with a bunch of guys who haven't seen a woman in 4 years.
Wait, so
sure, it'll be fine.
Reveal.
What could go wrong?
See, this is a reveal. Now we see what he was doing. Fantastic. The name of this jail, by the way, is Penitentiary for the Criminally Hot. Can you imagine Olivia Wilde in jail?
I can't imagine that, actually. Yeah. And I think we all have several times.
There we go. What a teaser. Now, I just saw this with my wife, and she said, why was 13 in jail? And I said, teaser successful.
Guess what? Yeah, guess what?
Thank you.
You're going to get to find that out.
And it made her actually stay through watching the credits. She didn't just turn it off and run out of the room.
Well, that's always a plus.
That was a successful teaser. Thank you. Anything on the credits? Yeah, awesome.
Sorry, you stymied me.
Oh, I should say, directed by Matt Shackman, who did just a brilliant job of this, of picking up on the whole Sergio Leone thing that obviously Sarah hadn't picked up on. But
yeah.
What did you do? So this was shot in Simi Valley, and I think it does a damn good job of imitating the New Jersey back roads. Don't you
Except when
think?
there were several takes we did of this scene where we're driving, but well, not this scene maybe, but some driving scene where we were driving and we literally passed a palm tree nursery, just like miles of palm trees, which we couldn't use. Yeah.
Has there been a palm tree in New Jersey?
There is now.
Yeah.
For sure.
Damn right.
The airport. I can make Carbo for the last call.
He also said to call
So,
and find a case.
Team without house, brown-nosing masters.
He's coughing blood.
A lot of people are. Right now, I have to get to Vernon while I'm still enough powder to ski on.
This is where a lesser man would make a black guy skiing joke.
This, strangely enough, that scene was shot in New Jersey. I don't know why we went there for the team.
We got to do this on location.
Yeah. We sort of got it mixed up a little backwards.
Phone illegally while driving.
36-year-old male with hemoptysis, headaches, chills, and chest pain.
Where are you?
On my way to the Greater Schenectady Chili Cook-Off and Spud Gun competition.
The amount of production that goes in these driving scenes is kind of crazy. Like, what you can't see in this is the giant process trailer towing this car with all of us sitting on it with our headsets and the giant monitors and 4 camera guys, and then the car is on a trailer with 3 guys hanging off the side, grips, and then it's followed by like 5 follow vans with hair and makeup and all the rest of the crew, and and cops everywhere shutting down a section of the freeway. It's an insane. It looks like 2 people driving down a freeway, but it's sort of a circus outside, which you can't see, hopefully.
Yeah, because that was a choice to either shoot it on an actual road or do it in a
blue
studio,
screen.
which some later on is done.
I think we did it at nighttime.
The nighttime
Yeah.
stuff, I think so. But yeah, this was all on the back roads of.
And we block shot everything. We did a bunch of scenes in a row.
I kind of like that. 13's exit. I was thinking it should have just said 13, right? And then she goes,
this
"That's
way.
my exit."
That's my
Yeah.
Remy Hadley this way.
No, what? You know her name? How do you know her name?
Remy Beauregard Hadley. We gave her a middle name.
Awesome.
Yeah, earlier.
Awesome. I didn't know she had a name.
At the quarterfinals, I coached volleyball, and during warm-ups, I got hit in the nose a few months ago.
So this is our guest cast here, Terry Moratos, who did just a fantastic job. I thought he was just superb.
Clean showers?
Not particularly.
Blood you were coughing out wasn't blood.
Me too.
Yeah,
I suddenly realized it.
No,
yeah,
I mean,
don't
and sort of playing the nice guy, which is not a real easy thing to do. I mean, I do it on a regular basis, and it's darn hard.
I think that might be blood.
I love Amber there.
I love Amber.
It's just so, and Jesse's little lip curl. It's just fantastic.
First of all, it's a tuber. And you're just jealous because your potato-related plans are more of the serving up fries variety.
So how long? Basically, we're shooting on location in, if you call it on location in Valencia. What, 4 days up there?
4 or 5. I mean, we were at the Disney Ranch for 3 days straight up.
Right, and then and then there was a sort of like a B unit day on the road, right?
Right,
Just-
and then another. I think there were 2 driving days that were separate.
yeah.
So I just remember being cold and dusty all the time.
That was in your apartment.
Yeah, just in my hotel.
Yeah. Now look, is that a?
Marcy Kaplan is our production manager.
Yeah. Is that a little? Oh, look, we should pause for this credit there. Wasn't that fantastic?
It was a beautiful credit.
We can go back and do that again. And there's Matt, the aforementioned wonderful Matt Shackman, who was a delight from beginning to end to work with.
Is he paying you?
It's more of a royalty.
Like an advert. Go to mattshackman.com.
Every time I mention his name.
Bleeding heart medical consulting business for illegals or some other sympathetic underclass.
No.
Overclass?
This interrogation thing is getting annoying.
Studies have shown that unannoying interrogation is 50% less effective.
Why are you so determined to bring me to this competition?
That was the one script adjustment Hugh Laurie asked for in this. He said, the line was, unannoying interrogation is 50% less effective. And he said, can it say studies have shown?
Right.
That was the one.
Right.
I don't know, Hugh, let me think about that.
Yeah.
4 hours later. All right, we're going to give it to you.
Wait, there's a boob job. Boob job. Boob
What?
joke.
What?
I know. Boob joke. A boob
Poser.
joke. I know. I wanted to do a countdown to the boob joke. Like do a 3, 2, 1, and then then I just totally walked over it.
This is serious?
I honestly, one of my favorite things in this episode is when House says Wilson thinks it's stupid, because you just see the whole scene. You see the fight that they had,
Right.
and he's kind of hurt. He's still raw.
Right.
Like, he can't really deal with it.
You're saying the best scene that we wrote is off screen?
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Yeah, that's good stuff.
No, I'm saying that Hugh Laurie makes little throwaway lines amazing and hilarious in a way that you did not expect him to do.
Yeah. So here we're coming to Hoarder House.
If it's Masters, just lie to me.
I just noticed that look that Jacobson gives him, like, ugh.
Peter insisted on being absolutely grossly offended at the notion of making love to Masters.
Which is weird because, I mean, she's cute. I don't think he'd be averse to it in real life. I mean,
No.
I'm not implying anything. I'm just saying,
No, but he felt his character would really be turned off by Martha Masters.
Dun, dun, dun. Oh, no.
What is this?
Can we talk about our art department and set decoration people?
You think?
No electric, no gas either. It's cold in here.
The good thing is...
Let's see if we could point out the fish tank, which was, I think, our favorite part of this that Amy came up with.
I mean, when you think that this was an empty floor, 2 days earlier or whatever.
Art watched a lot of episodes of Hoarders getting ready for this.
Right.
And it made them all OCD. Like, I remember them coming in, and I think Jenny and Art was like, I watched Hoarders, and now I've turned into, like, I can't put a dish in the sink. I wash everything. Like, she's so worried about it.
Yeah, several of them have committed themselves. So I mean, there's sort of the good with the bad. You got to take.
Neighbor or something. Cat.
So that cat had to be rented
Yeah, that's the infamous cat.
from a prop house. No, it's not a prop house. It was a guy who taxidermies animals and rents them out. And then you have to give it back.
That was a real cat.
It was a real cat at one point.
And we couldn't spray it with frost.
We had
because
to
it would ruin the
fur
fur
to,
or something.
comb through something individually into its fur. I don't know.
Yeah. I mean, a real dead cat. It wasn't like a real living cat that we actually
No, we
put
didn't
in a
know.
freezer.
No animals were harmed.
Or was it?
In
Maybe?
No.
Oh, okay. Yeah, let's go with that.
For medical marijuana.
So this is Disney Ranch, right?
Yeah.
Or not that.
Well, not this.
Not that.
Although I think that's the church where we all got out to pee. I think we just peed.
Oh,
Yeah,
right,
we-
the peeing church. Yeah. What? Why did you pee on a church?
No, you know what? Yeah.
Yeah. Never mind.
It was incredibly lovely that we got to use the facility.
Okay, so
But
now
here
we're
we go.
back to
This is
Disney Ranch.
So
And-
this is one of our favorite scenes. I
Yeah,
think.
go
This
ahead.
is-
You
this-
tell-
no, the
tell
scene
who's-
was just in
tell
production
who's in
called
the
Growing
door.
Guy. Well, I think everyone knows by now who's in the door, but this is a cameo by the incredibly lovely and just a really good sport creator of Lost, Damon Lindelof, co-creator of Lost.
And here's one of the all-time great looks from Hugh Laurie.
Yeah, I love that he
Just-
did. We
it's
were
just
howling in
fantastic.
Video Village. So David Shore emailed Damon Lindelof and said, "Hey, do you want to get kicked in the balls by Olivia Wilde?" And Damon was like, "Hell yes!" Like, he didn't even
Within
know.
30 seconds, possibly.
Yeah,
the
we were
email
just
came back.
responding. What do I need to do? Signed right up. We did 7 takes. It's
he-
13 degrees outside.
He didn't know where, when,
He didn't
how
care.
long it would
He's like,
take.
I don't care where it is. We're shooting in Burundi.
Well, it was close. I mean, it was Valencia at 6 a.m. He had to be there. So,
Yeah, pretty much.
and you can see him staying in character there, right?
Yeah, he was really good. This obviously, it was not his first time being kicked in the balls.
Yeah, it was.
I'm just gonna
Yeah, he was wearing a cup.
look at that.
Not
Look at that
part of the
commitment.
wardrobe. Yeah, no, and yeah, here's Terry again. But Olivia was ad-libbing a bunch of jokes too to him. Or
This is for the ending of Lost. I
right,
think this was
every
one of the,
every time she hit him again, she would give him a new line, trying to crack him up.
I had sex with your wife in jail,
Right.
and she loved it. Or she said it was the best
Right.
she'd ever had. And it was one of the things.
And he stayed in character. He was
Oh, he
brilliant
did. Yeah,
that way.
he was fully committed.
Yeah, that was great.
We're also gonna need a site consult.
I'm not a hoarder. I'm just a major slob.
I'm a fan of the Epps Jacobson bromance dynamic.
Right.
I enjoy it. I think it's
Yeah.
good. So we shot this. This is actually a set that was built on the Country Bear Jamboree Theater at the Disney Ranch. So it's like this very wooden, those are the actual walls, which we dressed up to look like a fish shack. And the oysters Ah, the famous soysters.
They're
made of soy.
soysters.
They're made of soy because actual oysters are too perishable. It takes hours to shoot a scene, and they don't like to have them around in case something goes bad.
You're gonna have to do a lot.
You'll notice nobody's eating them, for real.
This scene was a lot longer too, right?
Yeah, I think a lot. Yeah, we had to cut a lot for time.
The head of the scene, there was a whole...
There's a whole part where House fakes her out and tells her he has a child from a random hookup 20 years ago.
House has a child?
Yeah.
Wow.
Yeah, you didn't know that? It's
No.
now part of the canon.
Wait, now that you've said that, we can't use that bit in later episodes.
And later.
There's a lot of good
Shouldn't
stuff going
give it
down the
away.
toilet. I love Olivia here. Look at this.
I killed a man.
Let's talk about the eye acting in this scene.
I know.
It's
It's
really
just-
spectacular.
It is. It is great. I mean, just these two together, and
The whole shot was amazing with the two of them because they're very good friends in real life.
Yeah.
And they just sort of, they click. They've got this great dynamic. It was so much fun watching them work together.
and it was, different. I mean, obviously Olivia had been gone, and this was her first episode back, with the old gang, and
She was so happy to be there. Everyone was
yeah.
happy to see her. It was a really fun.
and it was different for Hugh too, because he's out of the hospital
yeah.
set, and the DDX is in the outer office and stuff like that. So
It was one of my favorite experiences shooting. Just
it was great.
except for the cold and dusty part. It was really cold.
And Dusty?
Really dusty.
If we're right, don't need House, and we still get 2 days off.
Still have to prove it. Someone's got to go back into that place and test.
And again, here's a little Amber moment that's always nice.
It's only fair.
Fairness is important.
Peter brings it as usual with his little, and then Jesse, I love that, the little head twitch.
You're awfully quiet.
Sorry, it's just how I get around people who recently killed.
When there wasn't a palm tree nursery, there was a cactus nursery that we also had to throw away a couple takes here.
Or there was the Simi Valley in North Valencia chili cook-off? No, whatever. But yeah, in the distance you can kind of see there's a lot of mountains and stuff like that didn't look
And those
overly
are-
appropriate.
I can't believe you're blowing our cover that way.
I know. Now, this is Xena Gray as the infamous Ruby.
Hey, how are you liking PPTH?
It's great. Everyone's so friendly.
Yeah.
The hot new RNA. CNA, I think.
You wrote the scene. I don't know.
I think CNA.
How did he get you to go out with her?
I love Omar in this scene.
Yeah. Yeah, this is Foreman going, he's a troll.
Yeah.
How does he do it?
He's...
I think this pause should have just gone on for about 5 minutes.
Right.
I'm not seeing him tonight. We had plans, but he canceled.
Interesting. I wonder where that would lead. Okay, now, first of all, you can see Crescent Lake there. Is that a spelling mistake or not? Like, there's only one C
I don't
in
know.
Crescent there.
Yeah.
It could be named after Charles Crescent
I'm
or
not,
something.
I can't read. I don't know what the intention was there. Maybe they meant for it to.
What is this, a barbecue lighter?
I want to give my son some technical credit here.
Oh, yeah. Hoser's son. Oh, P.S. Sometimes we called David Hoser because his last name muddled it if I say Hoser.
Is that behind my
Sorry.
back? Or I've never heard anyone use that
You've never
term
heard
before.
anyone say
No,
that before.
It's kind
P.S.
of
When she
offensive.
shoots a potato gun, that's our props guy Eddie throwing a rock into the water right before
With perfect timing.
With perfect
Impeccable timing, yeah.
Really.
So yeah, my son is a huge spud gun fan and has been building them for many, many years, and so he was my unofficial technical
Sorry,
consultant.
go back to that, but because we'll have time.
Yeah.
There's the fish tank.
That was
behind
the
Amber.
infamous, yeah.
It's the most disgusting thing you've ever seen in your life. This half stagnant green water fish tank.
Yeah, filled with mold, essentially.
Oh my gosh!
A
And you
coat
couldn't
of mold.
see like what had been in there, but you knew it was something. Oh, like a frog. Or...
Maybe we don't.
And this is the
There was a day when
The
Matt
raccoon
Shackman and the
turd.
props guy had a big huddle on set trying to figure out the size and shape of a piece of poo. Like the props guys brought in a selection of poo.
was any of it raccoon poo or just their?
Just it was.
It was their personal.
Look, I don't ask props where they
Right,
get things. Okay,
right.
You don't want to. Oh wait, what?
Prop.
What? What just happened?
Props also brought in a selection of feet to choose. ladies and gentlemen, Kimberly
Peterson! Woo!
A.K.A. the Hoarder. So yeah, hoarding.
That was, you based that on, like, they actually found a hoarder who had a homeless guy living in his basement or something?
Yeah,
That's what...
yeah, they didn't know that they had somebody living there.
You okay?
And I also have to give props to my wife. You can tell I don't come up with any of my own ideas.
No.
It's all family
Hoser's last
stuff.
episode was totally written by his dogs. That was the one, that's the one with the deep theological, I believe, undertones.
Well, it's the one where
Your dogs
the
are very
team
religious.
is trying to find this giant bone that's been buried somewhere. Yeah.
It's weird.
No, so my wife went to she's a social worker, psychiatric social worker. She went to a conference on hoarding, and it sounded like a good idea.
Down flat. Unless...
Yes. Let's stop shopping. I'll just do him and get him to throw the contest.
Again, look at this. Look at Hugh.
We shot this in an
Love
actual,
it.
in a hardware store in Culver City.
Yeah.
Fantastic.
Distance accuracy. Okay, how about this? Met a guy in a club, you brought him home, he OD'd.
I love this where 13 just starts getting into it. Like, she's been resisting it the whole time, and finally she's like, all right, we're going to do this. And then you
Right.
see the competitive streak come out. We're going to kill this guy.
Point. We need raw power. Where's the fertilizer?
By all means, Kaczynski.
At the end of that scene got cut off, too. He says, we'll just have to stop at all the FBI checkpoints. And she says, fine, like, we'll switch it for something else.
And he picks up a machete.
Oh, right, because if this doesn't work, I'm going to have to commit the ancient samurai ritual of seppuku.
You remember we had to find out how to pronounce seppuku?
Basically what we're
on the
saying is
set?
all the good lines we wrote are gone.
And this is left. These are the scraps that we're
No,
throwing
I mean,
together.
sadly, in every episode, you have to lose a bunch
Yeah.
to make it fit into the time slot.
Yeah.
And a lot of times it makes it better. I mean, just streamlines us going on and making jokes.
Don't talk over Peter's
Sorry.
shower scene.
Sorry.
Peter
Peter's
is
shower.
in
Peter's
that
in the
shower, stark
That's
naked.
dedication.
Shower.
He got in there and got naked.
Yeah.
He didn't, you guys. We're joking.
Yeah.
Just so you know.
He got in with his clothes on.
Jacobson's not that dedicated.
Okay, now this is, right,
We're
favorite
lucky if
scene.
he knows his lines. Okay, everyone's favorite scene.
Yeah. This is great.
Push it to 250. Have your friend Harold clean his pants.
This is Justin Sean,
Yes.
who makes us laugh.
I know.
We were just sitting in Video Village giggling.
Yeah.
Also, God provided the wind and dust,
Yeah.
which was amazing.
God obviously watches House. We could do a House of God joke or something. But no, I don't want to do that. Okay, never mind.
That potato gun. Please notice
Yes.
the potato bandolier, which is my favorite thing possibly ever created by props.
Well, and it was Elon's idea, I think, right?
Yeah, I think it was our special effects guru, Elon Soltis' idea to do that.
Yeah. Elon said, why don't you have a potato bandolier?
Justin Chon just killed this scene. It was so good.
Yeah.
Olga Petrovich is 72 years old.
And her granddaughter works a little place.
Hugh improvised that spit, which I think is hilarious.
Yeah.
He didn't eat.
And without saliva, right? The dry spit.
Yeah. So let's talk about Olivia's physical comedy right here, which is just, that also makes me laugh.
Bad
Right.
question, pal.
Shut up.
I just love Hugh.
Hugh needs to do a Western. Like, he looks...
He does.
He's Clint.
He
needs,
is.
I mean, in all seriousness, he would be great in a Western. He's got
Yes, he
the
would
look.
be. Yes. Okay, so here's our big reveal. What has Tao been up to all these
I don't know. What has he been
nights?
up to? Oh, no! Oh, my God, it's Jenny Crystal Foley.
Oh, hello, Jenny. Welcome
Your friend
back.
and mine. Welcome back, Jenny.
And the R292 payoff.
Oh,
Boom.
the greatest joke of all time.
Oh, wow.
Hoser, it's
I know.
really,
I know.
really
It's good
in the
stuff.
apex there. It's the acme of Hoser jokes.
Hope you like rhubarb.
Oh, now again, set deck right here with this motel room.
Oh, yeah.
Brilliant.
She sent us many, many photos of motel rooms to pick from.
Yeah.
Rustic, wagon wheel type.
Yeah. Amy started with, like a blank slate and then just turned it into the beautiful yet charming rustic little wagon wheel along Highway 92 somewhere in upstate New York. Now, Olivia made this change in real time too, right? This scene was basically shot.
No, we cheated. She didn't quite make it out when she was. She did make the change, but it took her a little while.
Yeah.
Let's talk about how much pie Olivia ate in this scene.
Listen,
Olivia
she was
Wilde
a trooper.
she's a gamer, you guys.
Yeah.
She is a baller.
Yeah.
You tell her to eat some pie, she's gonna eat some pie. Like it was truly impressive.
This is really eating pie.
And we did a lot of takes, and she ate. I want to say almost a whole pie.
There's a lot of good things you can say about Olivia Wilde, but probably the best is that
She
eats pie.
She will eat a damn pie when you tell her to.
Yeah, exactly. Top of the list.
In the meantime, no one could stop me from hiring.
Okay, Hugh ate some pie too.
You ate some pie, but not like Olivia. Hugh, I don't know. He didn't
Hugh
have the
picked.
dedication to pie
No.
eating that she did at this
No.
time. This was. I really like this moment where she sells sort of her fake story.
Yeah.
I thought she did a really great job, and he
Right.
does a really. You can see him sort of calculating.
At a coffee shop, we went back to my place, and
Yeah, he's weighing it.
Damn. Could have saved myself a job offer.
we both acted like idiots, and I ended up doing time. Guess he did more.
You know, this is also where we learn that Remy Hadley is as good an actress as Olivia Wilde.
I would say roughly she's the same amount of actress as Olivia Wilde.
And she's a doctor too,
Which is
so she's
amazing.
multi-talented
Yeah,
person.
she's really. Although all of our team is really good at faking each other out.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, here's Terry again.
He did a great job of
Oh,
making this guy
he really
sort of believably.
He really brought this scene. It was a really nice job.
Also, you know what? I have to say, I love this scene from Amber's, just for Amber, because I feel like she's a doctor. You know, she's grown from this medical student into, you see her really caring. I think part of this got cut too, but you see her really sort of being there for him in a way that.
Could you not talk over this dialogue?
Sorry.
there-
Hoser wrote this speech.
Is there I mean, you could just like railroad right over. It doesn't really matter, I suppose. But, you know, I mean, there's music. There's poetry here.
All right, let's all be quiet and appreciate the poetry of David
And
Hasselton.
let me just hear the rest of his.
Oh, it's over now.
Never.
Oh, we missed it.
Yeah, that's
Sorry.
great. Okay, no problem. We can do this again, right? Do this over.
Respiratory rate's normal, temp's normal. Looks like you're gonna be fine.
But you know, she's a grown-up now. You kind of feel like, okay, she's
Yeah.
gonna be okay. She's gonna be a doctor.
Yeah. Something's wrong with her heart. Cut to.
Cut to.
Uh-oh.
What? A line that has two uses. Oh no.
What's the term for that? Double entendre? That's like a dick joke?
Well,
No,
can
wait.
we say dick?
Oh.
We had a long talk about that.
Well,
We're gonna try
Richard,
not
short
to
for
use any-
Richard, I guess. It's a Richard joke.
Shh.
Okay.
Olivia's crying.
Okay. Everyone, quiet.
So insensitive.
Yeah.
So his wheels are churning now. This is a new clue for him.
And again, Hugh and Olivia bring it one more time.
Is that the day he was getting the cold?
Hugh does not get sick. Thank you.
He's
Okay?
officially Hugh Laurie does not get sick. Ever.
Yeah.
But he gets sick. He got sick. He got sick that day.
Maybe once. Maybe.
Although was this take one that Hugh makes a hole in one with
Yes.
the potato? He throws
Yes.
it into a wastebasket and it just.
Yes.
Hugh is kind of disgusting in the way that everything is perfect every time he
I know.
does it.
This is just one of the more many talents of Hugh Laurie. I mean, not only
He'll
can
just go, what if I just pitch the potato into the wastebasket at the end of the scene? You're like, yeah, sure. I'm sure that'll happen, Hugh.
Yeah.
Maybe you'll grow wings and fly, too. And then he does it just
Yeah.
to make you look like an a-hole. He's
make me look like an a-hole?
just you. Only
Oh.
you. You don't even have to be there.
Right.
We all go,
Right.
Hauser's an
That
a-hole.
right.
Right here.
That- and-
Oh,
Okay.
what?
There were no special effects involved in the making of that scene, ladies
No.
and gentlemen.
Do you
see
think
the
we're
egg
talking
there?
too much about how Hugh is awesome? Do you think, like,
Once Hugh leaves this room, then we can
you
kind
know,
of
Hugh,
relax a little
stop
bit.
poking us. We're saying how good
I just want everyone to notice that there was an egg in this scene there.
Right. The egg was a big deal.
Because you know, Foreman says hydrogen sulfide,
That's where he gets the idea.
Exactly.
Right. Except we cut the sort of long, slow reveal of the egg where he stares at it
Right.
for a long time. It
See,
took too long.
The germ of the idea was the egg. You see, like ovum, the origin.
We did. You know what? We
Anyway.
lost the top of the scene too, where she says, "You suck" to Justin John.
Oh, yeah.
To Harold, and House makes fun of her for being lame.
Yeah, Harold starts this scene basically, right?
Yeah.
Your mom, who had advanced stage Huntington's.
Now this was so this is the Greater Schenectady
The
chili
ninth annual
cook-off and
Greater
spud gun
Schenectady
competition.
Chili cook-off and spud gun.
No, and they made T-shirts.
I have one. I wear it all the time.
We stole one.
Wait, this is some serious.
Well, we stole
this is
two.
we just,
Like we each stole one.
yeah.
We didn't just steal one together.
Wait, hold on.
and
This
then
is some
wear
good
it.
stuff right here. This is
Okay.
House is now homing in on the real.
Is this scene poetry?
Hugh Laurie is poetry in the scene. No, see, okay, seriously now, I'm just.
Yeah.
You know what?
He's just
He has
sucking up.
flaws.
Yes.
He's not good at everything.
He did get a cold once, ladies and gentlemen.
That guy back at the house was the doctor who wouldn't help you cover it up.
The guy back at the house.
Was Damon Lindelof.
Yeah. In case you don't watch television.
Congratulations.
That was nice. Again, you can't really see it there, but there was a whole field set up with targets and
Oh, yeah.
and 20 other guys shooting spud guns and stuff like that. Did such a great job. Well, there was a little fair, right? A little midway.
Oh yeah,
sort of that
which
was set
did.
up.
There's a chili cook-off, the whole thing. The
There was a beer
the beer tent
Right.
with the fake beer. Oh, so once
T-shirt
again,
booth.
Hoser's son Ben Hazelton was our tech consultant on this. Who
Yes.
he wrote a paper for us detailing the different types of spud guns and.
He didn't write that much of it, okay?
No,
He
wrote,
inspired
He
me.
wrote a research paper. is what
Okay,
I'm saying.
yes.
He didn't write the script.
Okay, it was 75 pages long,
He's
and I
touchy.
lifted
Hoser's
stuff
very
extensively.
sensitive, very
Yeah.
insecure about certain things. I'm the biggest Peter Jacobson fan in the world.
Yeah.
There has to be some kind of inciting psychological incident.
So back in the hoarder house.
It's perfect for you. You get all the human interaction you crave without any actual.
And even though the grunge was all fake,
It was gross.
it was pretty gross
It was
in there.
really gross in there.
And the lights are dim, obviously, because the power's out, and so that was really hard.
Yeah.
Hard to
No,
shoot.
it was for real in there.
And they did a great job.
I'll be back for you in July.
So she was a cheerleader. See, that's a clue.
It's a clue.
Yeah.
Chew on that,
Yeah.
everybody.
Yeah. It's not a good clue. I'm just saying.
No, it
it's a
doesn't really
clue.
tell you anything.
He couldn't do it himself. The disease had progressed too far. He was flailing. He didn't have any control over his own body.
The Okie Knoll. What did we call this scene?
Amongst the Oaks.
This is called Amongst the Oaks.
We couldn't decide where to stage this scene. We're like, well, should we do it? Should she go back to the car and sit on the trunk of the car and sort of do this? And we asked our first AD, Robert Scott, where would you tell your secrets to House? And he says, Amongst the Oaks. Immediately, with
Apparently,
no hesitation.
he's told secrets to House.
In Amongst the Oaks.
Yeah, and it was surrounded by
so
trees.
the
at
scene
time.
became known as Amongst the Oaks.
You see, Hugh has no lines here, but fantastic. I mean,
He has no lines in the next scene either. He goes to a couple of scenes without saying anything, and yet you can totally feel
Yeah.
what he's...
does he have lines in this episode?
No, he doesn't say
Oh,
anything
okay.
in this episode.
So sort of like Wilson and Cuddy.
We had a Wilson and Cuddy storyline that we wrote, and then it was actually unproducible. We couldn't...
With the time.
With the time, we had to do so much location work that we actually couldn't do the day that it would have taken to shoot that storyline, and
Yeah.
so we ended up having to lose it,
Yeah.
which we were kind of sad about.
Well, recycling.
Recycling and come back.
Big recycling bin.
later.
Just outside the
It
office.
was the story's about recycling.
Really worked out well.
I didn't expect compassion from you. I would have.
This is where 13 rips him a new one, basically.
Yeah.
And he knows that it's right. This is why he lost Cuddy, is his inability to engage emotionally for real with anyone's pain. And so she calls him on it, and he knows that she's right. She's right.
I thought he lost Cuddy because she said, "I'm dumping you."
Well, that too.
Oh.
Wasn't it?
Oh, is that? And look at this. I mean, is this fantastic?
They all just did such beautiful
Yeah.
work out here.
I mean,
We were
ladies and
sitting behind the
gentlemen,
camera.
Olivia Wilde, thank you.
Olivia Wilde.
Thank you.
We all had our mouths open in Video Village. What the? How did she?
I wish I'd written that scene,
Amazing.
by the way. Because it would have been really, really good.
Let's just.
then.
It would have been
been
awesome.
funny. I would have put a couple of laughs in it.
Wait. I love this moment. Just when he turns around.
Right. Yeah.
Just the decision, like, okay,
Yeah.
here's what's going to happen now.
Don't say that to House right now.
Yeah. Oh, he would.
Now,
he totally would.
We should have a little PSA here, and that is,
Please do not ever.
yeah, don't shoot people with a spud gun.
Our rationale for this is House is a doctor. He knew where to shoot Harold, so
Right.
he knew he wasn't going to kill him.
Yeah. So he shot him in his steel-toed work boot.
He wore Damon Lindelof's cup. He just passed it over.
And he's a superb aim.
Yeah, we hit him in the spuds.
Yeah. Because seriously, I mean, if he had unloaded, he
You
probably
actually could
would
kill
have killed
someone
the
if
guy.
you'd shot him in the
Yeah.
organs.
Or like he would have ruptured his lungs at
So
the
this is
very least.
this is obviously our sort of re-staging of the teaser, only with her sort of waiting out. It's a smaller version of the what?
Mirror.
What?
Bookending. Nice. Callback.
Always get your way, don't you?
Yeah.
We had to
Plus-
shoot this so fast because the light was fading.
Oh, right. He should say, plus I hemorrhaged his heart.
Plus he's dead.
Yeah.
I killed him.
Yeah. I also killed a man.
Arbitrary thing to celebrate.
You know, if Olivia were pretty, she could really get some work.
Please don't raise her looks. It's just, she's very
tragic.
sensitive about the fact that she's not very
It's tragic
attractive.
how
and-
she's not very attractive.
Yeah. So.
Closet.
Aw, look at the teddy bear on the feet.
Brian says, that's what I wear on Saturday night.
Yeah, that's actually.
You found our playthings. Okay, now this was shot on a
Was that a blue?
stage.
That's the blue screen.
Yeah.
That was early in the morning, so you were there. I wasn't there.
Right. Yeah.
I think it's easier to the blue screen looks better when you do a night scene.
So, either it's a new symptom that will help us save her life, or it's a complete waste of time. Figure out which is fried, the bacon or the eggs.
Boom!
Oh, that's a classic Hoser line right there. It's one of my favorite Hoser lines. It makes no sense, and yet you totally know what he's talking about.
Oh, those are so the
bacon
best
or the
lines.
eggs. Yeah, we're just like, what?
Oh my God, where the hell have you been?
I think we've all got something a little more important to worry about than
No, we don't. She's been missing for a year.
You can ask her all about it when she comes in on Monday.
I love Amber here.
Oh, look at that. I love that.
Like, what?
I know. The little twitch.
She just twitches a little bit.
Yeah.
You don't know what she's thinking. Just like, what?
But it's not positive.
And the bitch is back.
There should have been some music right there. Like,
What? Like by what artist?
I don't know. Like,
Mm.
the bitch is back. Like,
Oh, yeah. Okay, you could have gone for the obvious choice, I guess.
as usual.
Yeah. First thought theater.
We had to cut a little bit here where she says that EDS actually causes hypermobility and bends the patient's finger back all the way, for which we had a double-jointed hand model come in.
Right.
Not hand model, hand actor, hand person, stunt hand come in, and we bent her finger back all the way, but then we ended up not being able to use it.
I think Terry's just so fantastic here.
He's great.
Yeah. Well,
I mean, they're both
Kimberly.
great.
I mean, yeah, it's just.
The hoarding, we're the wrong kind of doctors.
Yeah, you're better off seeing Hoser's wife as a professional.
Hoserswife.com.
Yeah. Uh-oh.
Everybody.
What have I ever done to make you afraid of that? I need to get some air.
Yeah. And as usual, Amber brings it there. Just such a great little look. And the music. I mean, music, the music choices in this episode were great.
Selfish.
We have a great composer, John Ehrlich.
Yeah. Thanks, music department.
So this was also on the Country Bear Jamboree Theater.
Right.
It was next to the fish shack.
To the Soyster
we sort of
Bar.
built everything right here. If you open that door and go out, you're basically in the fish shack.
Right.
It was 12 degrees on stage. Like, these guys were in parkas when
it was
they weren't
sloped,
shooting.
Sloped at a 12 degree?
No.
What? What does that mean?
It was cold. It was cold in there.
Cold.
It was really cold.
I think it helped their romantic mood, though, to know that it was built on a Country Bear Jamboree stage.
They're desperately right
reason.
now trying not to think about the Country Bear Jamboree.
Or to think about it.
I love Jenny Foley.
I know.
This is just, am I being too just undiscriminatingly adoring of our cast?
Yeah,
Probably.
you're like a hoarder. You love everything without discrimination.
I love our cast. I love them.
Is your place a mess?
We've had this conversation. I have tendencies. It's not a mess, but there is a drawer.
Now, the drawer is 9 feet by 12 feet. Right? And it has
by
your
drawer,
living room
I mean
in it.
all my bedrooms. Yeah, no. The boots. Matt Shackman loved those boots. He got them in as many shots as possible.
We could barely get him off him.
I love this scene, just where he comes back. It's so sweet.
Yeah.
He's so great. I mean, the two of them, like the dynamic
I know.
there.
They really did it.
The song is S. Carey in the Dirt, which I love.
Yeah.
It's a love song,
right?
But the lyric is "Don't leave. I believe we were meant to sleep in the dirt," which I think really feeds into the next scene. It's just sort of this dark vision of love.
Well, and it's I hope you can get over your hoarding addiction too.
That's the next lyric, but they say that right after, but we
seemed appropriate.
Yeah. And Taub's having an affair with his wife.
Right. Okay, and this is shot on our backlot.
This is, for me, my favorite acting moment of the series.
I agree.
Of the series.
Well, of the world. The human world, the planet Earth.
$87 for gas.
Oh, the two of them they just kill this.
Yeah.
I'll kill you. When the time comes, if you want me to. I'll do it now if you like. Yeah, I got a baseball bat in the back.
I can't even talk.
Hoser, are you crying?
Yeah, well, no. I'm sweating in my eyes.
You're crying.
My eyes are very hot.
I'll see you Monday.
Look at him. Oh my goodness.
I know.
Look at the two of them.
That's just, I agree. A wonderful moment between the two of them.
That's the Fox backlot right outside our offices.
Thank you, Hugh Laurie and Olivia
That was
Wilde.
a very unpoetic thing to say at the end.
I know. You kind of ruined the mood.
Sorry.
Okay. Anyway, I guess we're done, right? Yeah. Well, that was fun. Do you want to do it again? Or?
Yeah, let's start over.
Okay. Well, do you want to talk about the credits?
I don't know. Are we supposed to keep going?
Would you finally shut up at some point?
That's Elon did the potato bandolier.
Right. Additional potato bandolier effects by Elon.
Aw, look at our guys.
Okay. Anyway, gotta say, great experience.
Aw, we're gonna.
Right.
We gotta go. We're gonna make out now.
Who are you gonna make out with?
I thought, not you. You and me, no.
What an uncomfortable moment this is.
So strange.
It turned out badly.
This is uncomfortable. I gotta go.
Just say you loved working with me.
It was great working with you, Jose.
Okay, thanks.
All right, bye.
Hi, I'm David Shore, creator and executive producer, showrunner of the television show House.
I'm Gregory House. I'm exec producer. I'm the director of this episode of House.
And thank you for pronouncing it the Canadian way.
House?
House, yeah.
House. This opening, one of the things that we added at the very beginning of this was to get inside Lisa's head in terms of, seeing her point of view and having a just a moment before the dialogue started of her subjective experience and kind of trauma and emotionally what she's going through. At the time of recording this commentary, this is Lisa Edelstein's last episode of the show, so everything has an added sense of gravity to it now, looking back and seeing it.
And then this whole teaser was, I believe, Greg's idea, certainly. Maybe not the specifics of it, but we had a fantastic ending to this episode. But the ending, the episode up till then felt very normal. Not in a bad way, in a good way, but given that this was the last episode of the year, we decided to tee up the ending at the beginning.
To give it a little more story heft. And we actually took the main titles out, not for time this time, but more for effect, that it was a more important episode in a way. It's something that we usually do with that. This here actually was interesting because this had to be some sort of cross between a video that you would be like almost like what would be a traditional teaser for the show, but wanted to seem like it was filmed with like a flip camera and had been cut together to make a YouTube video. And yet it falls in between shot-wise, almost like something that we would shoot a normal scene at. So we tried to give it a little bit of sense that there's probably 2 or 3 people that are witnessing this performance art and filming it with their cell phone cameras, and then it got cut together. So it kind of inhabits a weird hybrid of a scene mixed with a video that was shot.
It was a challenge from a story point of view because it normally would have been a teaser, which would have been nice and simple. We would have done the whole thing. We would have gone to the end, and it was written that way at one point. But then when we added the ambulance scene before this became a little trickier to just cut to someplace outside the hospital. So we cut it short and then cut it off, which I think works really nicely. Literally cut it off in terms of pausing what you're watching.
Right.
And cutting to House so that we're experiencing it with House as opposed to it being an independent point of view.
Right. Which was kind of great that it existed, and it made sense that she was a performance artist that had these things. And I think going back, the fact that we did this being in present day and then flashing back through the episode was, I thought, a really cool structure, and it was something that we kind of did last year as well. But I love when the show breaks format like that and gives that heft and that gravity right from the very, very start. And also makes it a little bit more special, that it's, for me, like seasons finales and season openers, should have a little something extra to them, and I like that structure. It is deceptively housed within a relatively straightforward episode, but those extra touches, I think, give it something a little more unique. And Shore was actually somebody that we were looking at and considered early on, and early enough that we could cast that the writers and Dave and everybody could just have her in mind as they were doing the last couple of passes.
Yeah, we cast her before there was really a script to show her, and I remember myself and Peter and Kath getting on the phone with her and pitching her on what it was, and apparently we said the right things because she got very excited about it.
She was very excited, and she came at a level that I knew Hugh would respond to. Hugh is so prepared and never pulling out his script to check his lines, and he's so on his game. And to have somebody that he was going to play opposite who came also with that same level and that same work ethic was something that really fired him up. And our actor playing Luca also, phenomenally talented. In fact, at the read-through, Hugh pulled him aside and was very complimentary and was very excited to work with him because he had this sort of De Niro, New York quality to him.
There was a real intensity to him that was really clear. It was kind of interesting because usually the read-throughs, we expect them to come in and be prepared and do a decent job. But he threw himself into it more than we're used to. I mean, a lot of people come in and to some extent phone it in, want to save it for the day to put the best view on it. But he really committed. And
he's not used to playing these characters. He ends up being like the thug. He was always saying, I play the Asian thug and things, and it was just exciting for him to play something that was a guy and a more complicated guy, and also a guy that wasn't in full control. And here's Jerry, who we cast. It was interesting trying to find like a nice counterpoint to Hugh that would be, a warm presence that could intrigue Cuddy kind of a way.
But this line coming up is mysteriously Greg's favorite line in the script. I really am not sure why. It's a fine line. It's the very last line of this scene.
It's so hard to write. I just think it takes, it's hard to, everybody's so sharp and so witty on the show and can write characters in a way that is almost too funny for the person. And this was like the perfect...
Don't talk over the line. You just talked right over the line.
I know, but I'm assuming they've already watched the episode. And if they've come this far. But I just like that it was an awkwardly, him trying to do a witty line, but it just was, we can pause. I'm not going to talk over my name when I see it. It's too...
Have you considered the possibility that we were trying for an incredibly witty line and we just came up short?
And you think, no, well, if that was the case, then everybody covered well when I talked about like what a good bad line it was. Like that perfectly awkward, like, doesn't know what to say, but it slightly endears me to him. Directing the season opener now to the finale, I was excited this season to be able to, at the end of last season, to direct that, bringing the characters together, to explore that in the season opener, to do the breakup episode, and then now to do the what is really, the final chapter of their relationship is, it's exciting to be there for all those moments. I mean, how do you feel the journey went this year in terms of where you took them?
I actually was very pleased with it. We had a bit of a misstep at the beginning. Nothing that the audience saw, I don't think. But
No.
There was a lot of work that went into that first episode in terms of finding what their relationship should be, and a realization that House and Cuddy has to still be House and Cuddy. They still have to be House, and he still has to be House, and she still has to be Cuddy. And there's a certain temptation when you throw people into a relationship to see them happy.
Right.
And you want to see them enjoying certain things, but you don't want to change the character. You want to still be them still being the same characters. And I thought ultimately we did a good job of that and had a lot of fun with that during the course of the year and explored the way it could go and the way they could be good for each other and the way they could be bad for each other, but still being themselves.
That was one of the notes you gave, I think, every director, including myself, as we went through the tone meetings. The tone meetings are the last meeting of our prep schedule, where the director sits with David and the writer and goes through the script page by page, and everybody just talks about what the scenes are about, what the intent of the scene is, what the hopes of the scene are, so that everybody's on the same page and can achieve the same goal. It was always that House and Cuddy remain House and Cuddy, that it doesn't get too cute or too silly.
I kept saying no smiling.
No smiling was a big thing, and that, I'm just going to stop for my name again. So.
We went right over my name, I assume, which is that was the one drag of the credits not being in here. I thought it worked nicely not doing the credits, but I really like seeing my name come out of the head. The thing was there was a lot of mystery for the fans. There was all these publicity photos of House and Cuddy on the beach together, and we did one of the rare things that when we shot the season opener. The very first 2 minutes of the season opener were House and Cuddy together in House's apartment. And in looking at and then from there, they went out on a date throughout the day, exploring the city together. And they went to the beach, and they went to a concert, and they did various things. And in the end, when we looked at the episode... Notice the elephant was in that picture, though.
Yes, the elephant
we had to have it there. We didn't want the audience to notice it, but it had to be there.
Had to be present.
But go on.
Anyways, what ended up happening was when we saw the episode, we just didn't think this was the most effective first start to seeing their relationship. And we went back in a very short period of time and essentially, threw out all that work and just focused on them inside the apartment. And we went back and shot what everybody saw was the season opener. But there is an alternate season opener that could exist if...
Those shots on the beach were not designed to fool anybody.
Yeah, I know. It was always they were, we had paparazzi in full force. But ultimately, we just didn't think it was the best way to start this, and we just wanted to spend time with the characters. And we went back in 3 days. We shot 35 pages of them, and we shot it like a stage play. We put multiple cameras up and let the actors take runs at it, and it was pretty cool experience. But interesting that all
within the apartment.
All within the apartment.
The 3 rooms in the apartment, I guess.
Yeah. All the scenes that didn't make it in are interesting. Maybe people will see them one day, but I
not anytime soon.
Not anytime soon.
I mean, they weren't in the series for a reason.
Yeah.
We ultimately didn't like them.
But I like that we can talk about it now, and that the sense that if anybody's come this far to listen to the commentary on the finale, that they can learn the inner workings. And Paula Marshall did a great job as Lisa's sister. Even off camera, they went at it much the way they did on camera. They had a real similar kind of style. You would swear they're related.
She's been great, and that scene was significant. Not really long scene, but it was significantly longer. Unfortunately, one of the drawbacks of network television is you have to deliver to a very, very specific time, and so
to the second.
Literally to the second.
Like 42 and a half minutes of actual story, including the title sequence. So I think we bought ourselves an extra 20 seconds in this episode.
So stuff gets cut that we'd rather not cut, but ultimately, tighter is almost always better. I find the episodes always get better, even when I lose stuff I like.
Yeah.
The episodes wind up getting better.
I've never seen.
I love this little moment here.
Yeah, it's a great beat, and then Lily is great at these kind of, of course, kind of moments of, like what to expect from House. And it was actually great getting Olivia back towards the end of the season, and and seeing her dynamic, and also her growth as an actress. I mean, she left and did 3 or 4 movies in between when we wrote her out from the beginning of the season to then.
Yeah, she kind of sucked before, but then when she came back, that's a joke. That's a joke for those of you listening along here.
But she just had, you could feel she lived more life, and she'd experienced more as an actress, and that was great. And I thought Shode was just...
I thought this reaction here is really interesting from her. She's busted, but there was something, she was fascinated by being busted.
Like this, like he's on, like it's all working, yeah. And we had to, we had to treat the video to make it look more video. Video looks so good now.
Slight fisheye there, and
we also tweak the audio and the video in those shots.
Well, then I guess as long as the exploitation is properly motivated, it's all okay.
By the way, I love this is so trivial, but that song choice for his answering machine, I just think was inspiring.
Well, Alan first alerted us, when our head of post-production, he said, this was the Steve Carell's ringtone in Dinner with Schmucks, and then I was like, I could actually believe that Taub watched Dinner with Schmucks, thought that was so funny that he then made that his ringtone.
But boy, Rupert Holmes is making a lot of money off that song.
Apparently it was a very expensive song, because I think if you're looking for it and trying to use it, you're using it so specifically that
you don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. And it was too, it would always, usually the direction when we would let it play is that, he wouldn't answer his phone right away, but it would always be going off, and everyone would be reacting to it. I never got tired of his phone going off. Blocking for Hugh, this was interesting. Hugh often comes with so many ideas, and it was actually a whole different ballgame to kind of know that he was in the bed the whole time. It allowed him to kind of channel his thoughts into all the different behaviors and choices within that, not having to then think about where he was going in the room. So I thought that actually put an interesting dynamic on the way that we were working and where everybody was housed around him.
This is a little thing. This is sort of a typical scene in terms of what we did in that last scene, in terms of what I like to do on the show. It's about people being smart. That House busted Foreman there, in spite of the fact that Foreman really didn't give us anything to realize that he was scamming House, that he wanted to do this. And that's another note we give the directors, and it's another thing within this show, is our people are smart. Our people are smart, and they're good liars.
And we're never ahead of them as the audience.
We never want the audience to be ahead of our people, because if anybody could figure out that Foreman was lying, then House isn't brilliant for figuring out that Foreman is lying.
Right.
And that sort of theme applies throughout, and it becomes quite tricky at times. Going back to the elephant, if the elephant was obviously in that shot and the audience knew, there's something going on with the elephant.
Well, that's just my excellent directing.
That was my point.
I think it was interesting is the actors also have gotten in that rhythm that they don't tip that. I think, often with a guest actor, they don't necessarily know all the rhythm of the show. And, Omar knows to not make it seem like he's lying. So he's not tipping his hand. It also helps that Omar is an incredibly internal actor and, plays Foreman, in a very...
For example, right here.
Yeah.
Where he tosses the camera and acts like he just did nothing.
Right. It doesn't, we do, one of the things we do on set is we get a pre-rehearsal. So the actors go off with our med tech advisor, Bobbin, and learn the mechanics of what they're doing so that when we come time to actually rehearse the scene, they already know. We're not having the whole company stand around while they're trying to learn, intricate details of the medicine. So it allows the actors to not feel pressured and rushed, and also gets us going a little faster. So then when we show up, we can actually work on the scene itself, not try and get up to speed on what hand you're holding this, what is the procedure, how it works, and so forth. So we have
Because only a very small part of the audience cares about that procedure.
Well, but
it's true. It's
Jesse
true.
actually, his family, he comes from a family of doctors, and he gets very worried that they're all going to call him and point out the fact that they are, that he's somehow killing the patient.
Well, it accomplishes two things. It is important to us that we be real. At the same time, the scene isn't ultimately about those things.
Right.
And so these are experienced doctors doing things they've done 100 times before in most cases. And so you want them to look, you don't want that to be distracting the audience, and you don't want that to be even distracting the doctors in the audience.
Yeah.
And you want our actors not to be distracted by it as well. So
we rarely do inserts for that reason, unless it is something that's really propelling the story, which I like. I've worked on other shows that get insert crazy and feel that the science and the inserts are the most important thing about the show.
I hate inserts. I think we collectively hate inserts.
Yeah.
Unless it's absolutely necessary to convey something, we don't do it.
Which is...
By the way, inserts, for those...
inserts are like for example, just there where House took the pill, getting a close-up of the pills. Or, for example, when Tao pulls out his telephone, we saw an insert of the phones, which is important.
In that case, it was important that we see that it was from Rachel.
Right.
But in this case, we know House is taking Vicodin. I think 9 shows out of 10 would have shown you a close-up of that bottle.
Yeah.
And we just don't think it's necessary. Here, again, we do see, this is an insert shot, but again, it was sort of necessary.
I mean, he could have very well told us what he's seeing, but it's... always just helps to get inside. We always try to tie in the actors somehow to the insert. So in that case, that was actually Hugh holding that. We didn't shoot it at a later date, which we often do with the close-up work.
Wilson's point of view of the same thing.
Yeah, just taking in the subjectivity, the destruction, what House has caused, and also keeps giving us propels that mystery of what it is, so we get to the end of the episode.
What is everything else leading up to?
Yeah. And I like that the cop is not... overly tough guy cop, but also is, just trying to get to the bottom of it. And, through him, it's, that we keep trying to learn what the mystery
but also
is. It's our Citizen Kane.
And it's our Citizen Kane. There's a moment in there where we sort of see Wilson even giving up on House.
Yeah.
When he describes the bar, that's him saying, yeah, it's over. They should be bringing him in.
Which I love that I actually love that line too, because when you get to the very, when he says, look, he'll be in some bar that reflects exactly how he feels. And which is exactly true, which is where we, when we find him at the end.
Except it's not what Wilson thought it was.
Yeah, but it is what, he did know House enough to know that would...
He was right about the general and wrong about the specific.
Right. And their dynamic here, these two worked great together. I thought they really, it was a nice episode to see, Lisa and Hugh in top form and Shode and Hugh in top form together. And it really... Hugh goes at every scene as though it's the first episode and the first time he's done it. He never backs off from wanting to find the best possible way to do the scene and the best choices and taking the scene to the best it can be. And so that's, for me, like being here now, almost 3 years, it's one of the things that inspires you every day when you go to set is that you're working with somebody who's as excited about it. I've seen people on shows in their 7th season, 6th season, where they just are phoning it in and they just kind of want to get home. Hugh is very much about, is this the best it could be? Are we doing our best work? Is everybody else doing their best work? So
it's really remarkable, actually. The toll it must take on him as a human being. It's just
he's exhausted at the end of the day. We've actually, we limit his work hours because it is he's operating on his accent, so that is a great deal of mental energy. He's memorizing. Very, very long scenes and
that was an even longer scene, that last scene, although part of it was Shore's memorization. There was a big speech in there that the writers did a lot of research to come up with this big speech about
the other
about performance art
which I never quite
it never really worked, so I was glad to cut it.
Yeah.
It works fine without it.
When it was explained in greater detail, it was really interesting, but it was something that in compact form I didn't get to her point. Which is there. So how do you feel about when you write these things or when you come up with these things and you later cut them? You've always said in the editing room you love cutting stuff, but how does it? You created it for a reason. So why didn't you cut it in the first place?
Well, a lot of the times I was tempted to cut it. Well, not every now and again. I was tempted to cut it in the first place, and then thought, no, this could work, and then I watch it and go, no, it doesn't work.
Right.
And yeah, I mean. I think I'm pretty good at cutting stuff. I'm pretty good as a writer to not become attached to my babies.
Right.
And all the lines are there because I wanted them there. And then yet when you watch it, sometimes you go, oh God, because I'm all about even in the writing, I'm cutting and cutting and cutting, even in the writing. And then in watching it, sometimes you go, oh God, we could have cut this even tighter. And then I go for it.
Right.
You're right, though. Ideally, I would have done it that way to begin with.
No, but it's part of the process. I mean, it seems like for editing for you is the final rewrite.
Yeah.
And that's a cool thing. That last shot, by the way, in the elevator was just a 2-shot of Omar and Peter. And we've come this far in the show, and we trust the actors enough that they can play a 1-page scene in a 2-shot. And it's something that's nice to breathe. I mean, it helps us in a day of production because it allows us to move a little quicker. We know that shot is going to be...
What Greg means of that is there's no what we call coverage there. That was just, he set the camera up and filmed them from that angle and filmed them again, and we just used that single shot, whereas normally we would shoot a scene from various angles. If you can get away with it, it does play nicely quite often, that extended shot. There's a naturalness to it that can work in certain scenes.
And you work on a different dynamic. You work on getting the scene and their rhythm and their dynamic to work rather than knowing you're going to build it editorially. And the actors also can't mess up their lines and do so. By the way, I'm glad we mixed in the actual dialogue from Prescription Passion there because it is so funny. I think that is such actress is so, again, like with the fake, the not as witty line.
It's such a cheap shot, though.
She's such a good, like stilted soap opera actress, and I think Liz wrote that from a long
time ago. I think
a while
you're
ago,
right.
Liz Friedman, and it was so. She says like she's never had more fun writing something than Prescription Passion, like the House's favorite soap opera.
We did originally cut this. This was cut at one point. You saw it on the full screen, and then you realized you're watching what House was watching. But it was too much.
I do love that he likes that show.
What are we doing here?
We're testing a theory. Based on some stuff you can't understand.
This we I like the choice to stay outside the glass in this. Just again, with this episode, I tried to go on, what are called longer lenses, meaning more on the telephoto side of lenses. So we're slightly removed from certain things, so we're not as intimate. And then knowing that the very last shot of this would be on the video camera, I worked backwards to want to keep stuff through the glass and keep just a bit of a barrier to the scene, and
we lost a line here that I kind of liked, actually. Though.
Which one was that?
The right now, I think it's lost. Right now, not at all. Now, totally at all.
Yeah,
I like wordplay, and although I love the brain-a-majig or
yeah.
It was a slightly different version of that in the script.
Brain-a-mabob or something like that.
Yeah, and Hugh changed it, and it was delightful.
Yeah.
I go down for rehearsals of the scene, not that medical rehearsal, but I try and be down. I don't always make it, but I
with
try.
The medical rehearsals, you can't be like
medical rehersals.
Let me guess. They do a couple of clears, and then there's a couple of. All right, I got this. I'm gonna go back to my office.
But this one I went for, and when there are line changes, they're supposed to run them by me, and this is one that Hugh did a little differently, and then quite often he goes, "Yeah, I did it differently, and I'll do it right the next time or something." And I go, "No, that was better.
Right.
What you did there was better. So keep doing that."
But on my very first episode, and I've cited this before, you made a line change like on set that was which was the whole with the episode with the nuns. But you take the IUD out of a nun and they bounce right back. And then there was something. That
was the one that jointly Hugh and I came up with. We started talking about that scene, that moment.
How should you do it? Oh, nuns.
Once you take the IUD out, and they bounce right back.
But it's just like to come up with these things. Like I'm remembering that 6-7 years later. But it was a great. You guys have a great collaboration. Who would is House is partly based on you. Do you pull from who else have you pulled from in creating House?
Sherlock Holmes is the obvious thing there, but yeah, he's I'm not as smart as him, but the sense of humor is.
Seems like meeting,
I'm not as quick as him, so but
I don't know Judy. Meeting Judy, I feel like you've pulled her wit and some of her sharpness.
Oh, very nice, very nice. I'll pass that on.
Is evident in here.
Judy's my wife.
Judy is David Shore's wife, who's very sharp. Very witty. And this scene actually, this was actually a really great scene with Hugh and Robert, and I think Robert was doing a play in New York at the time, and we only had him for 2 days of work here that we could get him when he was he could leave on Sunday after the Sunday matinee and have Monday, and then get back on Tuesday morning before his Tuesday performance. And I think just being slightly beaten down from the flights, also added to him being, over and tired and of the journey and the repetition of going down these roads with House. And they really got to like a really special place during this scene. And I think in the episode, this scene especially, I found very powerful, and I found their work really exceptional. They really came at this, and it's something that would have been it was really undirectable. It could only come from the fact that they've known each other for so many years and have taken this journey as characters together in so many years.
And Wilson being not just, you get the sense that this has gone beyond the usual, oh, come on, House scene. This is, I'm actually worried about you. And I think that came through. By the way, House is me if I had 2 weeks to think of every single line I said in my life.
It is so sharp, and
I love this little moment coming up with him checking the box.
Right. I like when House is so feared by his immediate staff and some of the people around him, and I do always like when either you take the character out of the hospital or when somebody's just over.
I thought we should have had an insert, though, of a piece of paper with a giant box on it.
A giant box, right. Enormous.
But you were saying, yeah, it's nice when it's nice when people stand up to him and people hold their own against him. Which is a lot of the attraction of Cuddy, I think.
Yeah.
And she knows she can hold her own against him.
They're back and forth. It's again, what's fresh for us right now. By the time this comes out, we'll be starting the next season. But no, we didn't know at the time of shooting this episode to be Lisa's last episode. So, it's a.
Can I just pay tribute to her throughout the years? I mean, she was that is such a tricky role. The whole role of the boss of somebody who's this brilliant and this unconventional is such a tricky role and can so easily turn into caricature. It could so easily turn into Colonel Clink, or
Right.
Not that, by the way, Werner Klemperer, brilliant, but a different show, different tone. And she walked that line, and you just got to. It made House all the better watching him interact with her and interacting with somebody who's his equal in many ways, and who can stand up to him and who can sit there and know what's going to come from him in general, and know that she's going to win, and knows the end of the discussion, and feels confident about herself and stands up to him, and it just worked.
Yeah. It was nice to do my Bombshells commentary with Lisa, to be able to, compliment Lisa to the extent that I did, because it's, I'm always astounded at what she takes and her choices that she makes. Again, I think are beyond being able to give somebody direction. She just inhabits this character in such a way and comes up from such an interesting place, the way that she approaches the scenes, and also very warm person to work with. It'll definitely be missed next year.
Yeah, she's wonderful, and there's that warmth and that there's what she brought to that role. I mean, no matter what, we could not have written that so that they would not wind up in some sort of relationship. The connection between the two of them, even though they were on the face of it antagonists, was just so apparent from day one. And any scene she entered, there was a sexuality to, and yet she was a capable boss. And then, of course, she would always undo an extra button on her blouses. Too,
right.
So
yeah. Lisa liked him a little more low cut. In here, the awkwardness.
Now, did you put that picture behind there on purpose?
I did not, but actually, like, in looking at it, my next call was to Amy, our set decorator for next year, to try to, I just found it a bit drab, some of the artwork in the cafeteria that we could definitely be
I think
considering.
this works in this shot, though.
The road.
The division,
the long road.
Also, this scene was shot with a lot of coverage, but I love the fact that we just let this go for so long at the top of it. It plays into the awkwardness. It winds up being slightly longer, but it works very nicely, and for that very reason.
I was happy that we did that. I think that's I'm a big fan of that. I think one of the things in television, because of the time restraints and the pacing, often we get TV can get very cutty, and I think that's something that we don't overcut on the show, and we do
try
cut.
not to. Sometimes necessary. I love the fact that the first time we cut is when she says the line, "I haven't seen anybody else."
Right.
That it becomes a different scene at that moment, and I really like that.
And the Hugh House specifically, feeling the screws on him and the difficulty he has expressing himself and honestly expressing himself is apparent here. And I like when he kind of goes through all the list of things that somebody would read into. I think that's something that we can all be guilty of, is trying to either project our own stuff on somebody else or try to think that we can figure everybody out and there's answers to everything. And when in fact it's probably a little bit of everything House says in the scene.
It is a pet peeve of mine that when we're asked for answers to why did House do that, well, every one of these reasons he cites probably has truth to it.
Yeah.
And the weight which individuals put on each of those individual truths, if you will, is what defines them. And big theme of this show is trying to find ultimate truth, trying to get to it, trying to cut through the crap and trying to cut through your own personal skewed perspective and get to a real truth. And this is really nice here.
Yeah. And the aggressiveness and lashing out and then sort of backing off, but also, being able to reveal in their dynamic and Cuddy holding her own, not getting overly freaked out by it, thinking that there would be some more violence to follow. But, what happens when people get pushed too far
and them holding hands, which is the way the season started. But this time it's very different. And he wants to be there, but he can't be there.
And
I just like that moment.
Ultimate truth, people, everybody wants a pat answer to things. Nobody sort of wants that every bit of what he said may have truth behind it, and that everything that people do is complicated and met with multiple motivations. A nice quiet scene with Olivia and Shode. I know even in this scene, no matter how many times I come back to shooting in patient rooms and knowing that the blocking is usually similar, there's always a way that each script inspires the approach to each scene, that allows me to either shoot it differently or to find a different way to go about it. I never feel like I'm sitting there repeating myself after, I think this is 26th, 27th episode, and then for Hugh, he says the same thing. He's been in the outer office 500, 600 times for scenes, and yet never feels that he's repeating himself. He finds ways to come at everything very fresh. And even Lisa's awkwardness here, like great choices, very disarming in her honesty. The way that she approached it isn't looking for anything other than just, putting herself out there and sort of opening herself up. Jerry Barrett.
So it's a tricky scene because in about 35 seconds or something like that, we have to get her to apologize, get them to connect, but not in any way that is just too much, that's believable within 35 seconds, and that we believe that these two, might be okay together somewhere down there,
right.
Might be an interesting connection. Yeah.
Or something. Peter Jacobson, he can tell a joke and is great for reactions, and it
That's just wonderful. Just that shot of him is
right. It was what, in terms of and Jen Foley's been, and again, talking about somebody who's really grown, her work this past season with Peter has been phenomenal. And, I like that these 3 words give her the promise of coming back next year, and we're going to see more of her because it is just, their dynamic is great together. They always hit on something very authentic in terms of their portrayal of their married life, and then the distance that has happened through their divorce. I always find there's something that I always gravitate with her, that I find that her love for him and Peter is always is always evident, but then they're sort of this impossible match. He can't get out of his own way, and he's so funny along the way.
First of all, just checking the stitches on my penis. That's
right.
A joke that I'm not ashamed of. Second of all, not a fan of the rose, I gotta say. That rose is distracting.
she, she had it, and I went with her choice on it, and I can see that. The thing that actually that
It's
came
just
out
it's
of it for me.
huge. It's a huge rose.
Well, it's a
Or maybe
beautiful-
she's just small.
but
But
it
this
also it also just makes him even more of a bully. It's she's there and she's got a
That's
flower,
true. And
she's-
this is obviously a crucial scene. This is a scene that motivates everything that happens in the next act. This is House. Big part of this episode was she was a person who's chosen a career that's just so anathema to what House would normally choose, and yet at the same time, House admired her. There was a scene in the pilot in which, I'm not sure, did I say it was a flip scene? But there's a scene in the pilot where he confronts one of the other times where the patient has done something that disappointed him, and he confronts the patient, and the patient stands up to him. It was there's no dying with dignity.
Right.
The patient said, I just want to die with dignity, and he said...
But he was convincing her to live. Here is almost convincing her to,
Yes, you're right. So, yeah.
to not take the treatment and die.
Yeah.
I like that we approached that scene from the back of...
Sorry, what I did, apparently I said something very insightful and forgot about it, so thank you for bringing that up.
Yeah, well, I remember these things, and, it was again, House and Wilson. We did all of Robert's work that isn't the stuff we shot at at Cuddy's house all in a day. And it made for a very busy day, but it was the end of the season, and everybody had somewhere else to be. Olivia had another movie she was doing and flying in for. Robert was doing the play. We had to finish the season to the day because Hugh was going on tour. So we had nowhere to go. So it was a very tricky production to wrangle on this episode. And thankfully, on top of it all, there wasn't like an added production element that was super complicated. It was what we knew, which was the hospital, and really focused. This season finale focuses on performance and the relationship of the characters. This is the actual real Cuddy house that we modeled the sets around. The inside, we shot it earlier in the life of the show. We actually would go here every time we had to shoot the inside of Cuddy's house, and then it just didn't become feasible. A real house is very difficult to photograph in. It's usually too small. When you put the cameras and all the crew, it just becomes very difficult to photograph. And so we built the inside of it back on stage. And we rarely returned to the actual location, but it was kind of great to be able to do that on this day and recreate these scenes. In fact, here, the actual dinner table, they're actually just sitting on some apple boxes there because the actual dinner table was too wide and we couldn't see anybody in one shot. So this is actually a 1 foot long table that's between them just to cheat the appearance that everybody is sitting at a table through the window.
I love that shot there. The cutting to the brush and all that brush means. I think that's just a wonderful moment. Hugh's face here, of course, is fantastic. Yeah. I also want to say, in that last shot of the room, I've been answering calls from the press a little bit today, where they're saying, House is trying to kill them. And he was certainly risking lives, but he was aiming for the home. He was not aiming for individuals. And that last shot was them clearing the table and leaving the room. So I don't think he was aiming the car at human beings, although clearly risking that.
Was there ever at any point like that Rachel Cuddy was like at that scene?
Obviously, I wanted House going too far here and doing something crazy, but you do weigh that. If he was on, our minds are such and our empathies are such that we can only accept so much. And if he was risking a little child, I think that was taking...
It'd be way too much.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, it was good that we never answer for like where Rachel is, and we're going to assume that
we imply in the teaser that she was
with her moms.
With the mom.
I like that Hugh did his actual whip around stunt there. And again, trying to get inside the head of... Hugh gives you so much, even more than you see on the day when you're shooting it.
You stick that camera on those eyes and creep in a little bit, and you've got gold. That's not to dismiss the craft.
And we do little things here where we change the street signs and stuff like that just to make sure it doesn't seem like California. Now, this was
And the little sound of his wrist breaking. It's a tiny little sound there, but it gets me every time.
This is a combination of two things. We shot the car driving up on the actual location, and we rebuilt both the exterior and interior of Cuddy's house on our back lot, where we could actually do the stunt and drive into it. There was no way to do it otherwise. There was no CG that could be faked. There was no version of smashing it into the real house that was going to be, possible to get the results that we would want and be able to control it. We have to be able to, control the amount of dust and break away and make sure it's safe for everybody and safe for
I love this. This is always the way we had Mon. You did such a nice job with this, but just him and Lisa did such a nice job, and everybody else was just, and including Hugh, the slight smile on his face, just him handing back the brush, and then the little things go so far with him. That tiny little smile is just huge.
Very satisfied.
Yeah.
With what he did.
And then you're right. We knew for a while that was going to be the last line of the season. You're right. I do feel better. Well, it's actually not the last line of the season because we do that other scene, but it's basically.
Right. And the idea of, this was interesting too because we actually did what is called looping or ADR, where we went back to re-record the dialogue here because when we shot it, you could hear the sounds of the waves.
We didn't want to give away.
And you didn't want to give away the reveal of where we were, this is one of the actors that was in the old version of the season opener, and it was nice. We basically re-employed all the guest stars throughout the season in different roles from the original season open. So I was glad that he could be there. And this is a mix. We actually shot this in Malibu, and then Alon, our visual effects supervisor, went through and Fijiized this place and made the water more blue and the sand more pleasant, and made the sky more beautiful. And that's my Shawshank Redemption boat that I wanted. Because I wanted like a fishing boat at the on the beach. And that last shot on the back of house I love, and I actually had that made into a still for my office.
And then again, the little smile as he walks off.
We did a bunch of reactions there.
Proverbially into the sunset.
So that he could try out different feelings, but it's just, to see him walking away and, being on the beach, and we added the palm trees and took out the houses and made the sky even more beautiful. It was a really cool ending, and I love the promise of what it sets up for us, and
all these people did a really good job.
No, it's been an incredible team during a really great season, and everybody deserves that credit we've had. It was great about doing the commentary and the bombshells was to really single out a lot of the departments because you could kind of heavily feature everybody's work. So, do you know at the time of this recording where you're going with season 8 yet?
No, I got some thoughts, got some ideas, and gonna figure them out.
This is great.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, everybody. See you, bye.